The Porsche 911 has largely been considered one of the best sports cars available since its debut back in 1963. It's been here over 50 years, and in that time, Porsche has really focused on innovation. They're trying to refine the car to make it better and better. They're putting new technologies in it. They're bumping up the power with the turbos they just added a couple years ago. They're really trying to make it better every year. So today I'm going to be taking a full look and review of this beautiful red 2018 Porsche 911 GTS. Now, a couple notes before I start the review. First of all, it's Porsche, guys, not Porsche. I hear a lot of people saying Porsche, and that really drives me nuts because it's a German company and you pronounce the E, it is Porsche. So please don't say Porsche anymore. And the second note is, I'm a McLaren fan, so I'm going to try my best to keep my bias and my opinions out of this video for the most part. But if there's a bit of a negative feel to the video, I'm a McLaren fan, what can I say? In the rear of the 911 is a 3-liter twin turbocharged Boxer 6 engine. And a lot of people really weren't happy with Porsche when they made the decision to turbocharge the base 6-cylinder back in 2017, but Porsche justifies the decision by claiming an increase in power, so you've got more horsepower and more torque and improved fuel economy at the same time. So the best of both worlds, but maybe not the best sound. Now, it produces 370 horsepower and 331 pound-feet of torque. Like I said, those are up from the last generation's numbers. It also has a combined 25 mpg with the PDK automatic transmission, so a pretty nice setup, best of both worlds. All that power is sent to the rear wheels. It is rear-wheel drive, although all-wheel drive is available as an option on some trim levels. But what I really wanted to talk about with the engine here is the fact that it's rear-engined, not mid-engined like a lot of other supercars. Porsche decided to push it back to even behind the rear axle, so it's fully rear-engine car. And the reason for that is, well, there's a lot of reasons, and I actually made a whole video about it, which you can check out over there. But basically it all comes down to more interior space because the engine's farther back, so you can add the rear seats, a better balanced car under deceleration and acceleration because you've got more grip when the weight shifts back, and the braking evens out between the front and rear wheels when it shifts forward under deceleration. So it's a very nice setup what they've done there with the rear engine. Not a lot of manufacturers are doing that. The only one I can think of right now is the Smart Car, but that's not at all like the Porsche 911. And it's available with either a 7-speed manual transmission that's standard, or you can opt for a 7-speed PDK automatic transmission. And the PDK is special because it has 2 different clutches, and one of them can pre-select the next gear before you actually need it, so that it can make the gear changes incredibly fast. So fast it can go 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, and it can reach a top speed of 183 miles per hour, so the performance is definitely there as well. But of course, a great sports car also has to be able to handle all that power, so the 911 comes with an electrically power-assisted steering system with a variable steering ratio, MacPherson Strut-type front suspension, multi-link rear suspension, stabilizer bars for both axles, and available torque vectoring. It also has a Porsche Active Suspension Management system you can get, and that adjusts the stiffness on the dampers for a more relaxed or hardcore ride, depending on what mode you select. The exterior of the 911 has remained mostly unchanged for the past many years. You know, just like everything else in the car, the technology in the powertrain, Porsche has really just been tweaking it and refining it for the past 50-some years, since the 60s when it was introduced, just to make it the best that it can be. But it's got some really nice Porsche design cues to it, like the really nice classic headlights that I'm going to talk a little bit more about later, and the proportions are very classic 911 as well. A couple things that I do want to point out that it has though: active intake flaps up front that can open to improve cooling or close to reduce drag, 19-inch rims, dual stainless steel exhaust pipes with the sport exhaust, and the GTS does come with the sport exhaust. It sounds very nice, but you get 4 exhaust pipes without. Overall, it has a drag coefficient of just 0.29 and a base curb weight with the manual transmission of just 3,153 pounds. And I want to take a little time to point out the beautiful bi-xenon headlamps here in the 911. Really classic Porsche. You see it on almost every model they make, these oval headlights here. They're actually really similar to the headlights found on the Volkswagen Beetle, and the reason for that is the designer of the Beetle was Ferdinand Porsche, the same guy who designed the first Porsche and established these headlights as their signature look. So yes, they're really similar to those on the Volkswagen Beetle, but they look really nice here on the 911 as well. And there's also an optional Porsche dynamic lighting system which will turn the headlights to light around a corner as you turn the steering wheel. There is another great example of Porsche mixing the old with the new. You've got the old style headlights with new technology. As you can see, the interior of the Porsche 911 is pretty nice as well. You've got leather or Alcantara Whichever you prefer. You can get it with aluminum, carbon fiber, or wood trim. Again, just your preferences. You can spec the car how you like it. A lot of different options. You can get it with standard sports seats or available bucket seats. There are 2 optional surround sound systems, one from Bose and one from Burmester. And it has a 7-inch infotainment screen. The steering wheel does feel a little weird in my hands. They say it's based off the one in the Porsche 918, which is a really cool car, but the steering wheel is a little odd. It's got like these little inserts here with holes in them and screws that are showing, and I don't know, it doesn't feel that comfortable. I did a review of, I believe it was a 2014 Porsche Cayman S a couple months ago, and in that review I was unable to find the cup holders in the car because, as you can see, there's just a stack of buttons here and a little storage area. But the cup holders are actually hidden just above the gloves box. You have to push this open and then let them slide out, just like that. Can they hold a very big drink? Probably not, but it's a pretty ingenious way of hiding them. And if you opt for the Sport Chrono package, you get 4 driving modes. You have Normal, Sport, Sport Plus, and Custom. The package also adds launch control and the Sport Response button, which will prime the engine and the transmission to provide a boost that lasts for around 20 seconds. So there you have my full in-depth review of the 2018 Porsche 911 Carrera. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up for me and comment down below, as well as go ahead and check out my channel because I've got a ton of exotic supercar and hypercar reviews up, so remember to subscribe. And also a quick special thanks to Bert Smith Porsche of St. Petersburg for providing this fantastic car.